Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. We're here on the Avenue at Smokey and Bunty's in Trinidad and Tobago. James, the action continues. We had a difficult time today because the 4 games were being played, 2 games at the same time, and the other 2 games. So, James, before we get things started, let the kind folks know why they need to come down here and join us.
Well, you should come down and join us here at Smokey and Bunty's up in the Avenue. As you can hear, people are having a good time. They're getting lots of deals at the bar. And obviously we have that wonderful, wonderful prize. Flights for 2 to Tobago for 2 lucky obviously guests to come down and join us for the final on the 18th of December. So come down, have a good time and enjoy the football with us. So wonderful.
Yes, and we have a lot of giveaways, folks. So, answer the questions. Eventually we'll be announcing our winners this week. So, keep commenting. We are seeing a lot of people putting their answers underneath, and we're going to throw in random trivia questions. But it also helps if you come on down. You probably brought up to James and myself. You may win your prize. So we're going to head into the first of the 2 games that took place at the same time. So we'll start with Ecuador versus Senegal. Senegal got a 2-1 victory, which basically secured their qualification to the next round. James, let's talk about the 2 games first. I'm going to do it like this. Netherlands also won their game, which puts Netherlands on top, Senegal in second place. But let's talk about the Senegal game. What do you think about Senegal's performance and overall? Because a lot of people were kind of positive on Senegal going in. They have a good squad. Tell me, what do you think?
Well, this was a fantastic result for Senegal. I mean, I think to come out 2-1 victors against an Ecuadorian side who have a lot of young, talented players in there. They play this 4-3-3 system. They're fantastic on the ball. They hadn't lost, I think, coming into this game either,
Yeah.
So they'll be heavily disappointed, but Senegal really showed that there are no pushovers today.
Correct.
They obviously got the penalty, which Sarr slotted past the goalkeeper, and he did it without even looking, because if you watch back the clip, he looks at the goalkeeper and doesn't even look at the ball. So wonderful, he has that confidence to do that. And then Koulibaly from obviously Chelsea slots home a wonderful volley at the back post from a little header knocked down. So they'll be hugely happy with this result, or really impressed with the fact they were able to come away with this result against an Ecuadorian team who, again, we talk about the huff and the puff. They tried, tactics at the end to get that goal, but they were not able to overcome this Senegal side, and you've got to give a lot of credit to them. So, I mean, they played a 4-2-3-1. They played it well. The substitutes they brought on obviously bought into that system, and their coach has done a wonderful thing to get them through this game.
Yes, and before we move along, James, we're going to talk about this jersey and why James is wearing this jersey, but we're still on this game, folks. So, obviously, possession-wise, 62% for Ecuador, 38% for Senegal. Senegal has, you mentioned Koulibaly as well, so they have quality players. Long gone are the days. We're saying this, I'm going to say this continuously because we keep hearing people getting surprised. But the playing field has leveled off. Ecuador is a strong team, physically very strong, traditionally like to resort to the counter-attacking style of football, but in the end, Senegal got the result. So, James, once again, this is another scenario of a lot of possession, but the end product paid off for the team that had less possession. What do you think about that argument that people keep having?
Well, at the end of the day, results win games, and goals win games. And the fact is, Senegal came away with the 2 of them. But if you look through the squad, I mean, the fact they have Mendy, Koulibaly, I think Daya's been fantastic up top.
Yeah.
Sarr obviously came in this game, Gaia. So to me, they've got a very, very strong squad. Can they go on and really cause some upsets in the tournament? Maybe,
Yeah.
But I mean, as I say, the same thing from Ecuador. They'll be very disappointed because I thought, for example, Hecampe, the defender at the back there, he's a young defender.
Yeah.
Fantastic talent for the future.
Correct.
Valencia, he was kept very quiet today. I mean, obviously you've got to give Koulibaly his kudos there. 67 caps for his country. This is his first goal, but he was able to lock up shot and stop Valencia, who was the top goal scorer, I remember, coming into this game of the tournament. He didn't get that chance, and again they came out with this victory, which is massive for the country. We saw the fans dancing and having a great time, and that's what it's all about.
Yes. So, folks, it continues. So now, we're going to head across to the other game. Moving along, because we're going to try to do it simultaneously, folks. Netherlands secured a 2-0 victory over Qatar. It's been a disappointing campaign for Qatar, but it's sealed top spot for them with 7 points. And we'll do a quick summary before we head to the other 2 games of the table. This is Group A. So, obviously, Frankie de Jong as well gone on the score sheet as well. They secured their spot. Van Gaal and his men looked like they were pretty comfortable, at least in this group. We're not going to talk about the games itself. So, James, what are your initial thoughts about this game?
Well, again, I mean, Qatar came into this game, I mean, they had no hope really of qualifying. I thought they would produce a little more. They have some players there, for example, Afif, who we talked about. He's a kind of winger. He ended up playing as a front man today, but they didn't do enough. And I think, all in all, they probably didn't show enough in the whole tournament. Their coach, Kuros, will be bitterly disappointed, but Holland, they came in with a 4-3-1-2 formation. Napo obviously got the opening goal.
Correct.
Fantastic finish there. De Jong then came in with the goal at the end. But I expected a little more from Holland.
Right.
They have a lot of talent when you look through that squad there. I mean, they have one of the best defenders, obviously, in Van Dijk there. I think Norbert, the goalkeeper, is coming into a little bit form, a little better this time. Depay came in, Memphis Depay. To me, Depay didn't do enough. He obviously got substituted for Janssen at the end there. But for this Dutch team to go on and win something which people are talking about, they're going to have to up their game a little bit. You know, a 2-0 victory is okay against Qatar, but when you come up against your big ones, we saw obviously England go through a little later on. When you come up against an opposition like that who has such squad depth, you're going to have to obviously up your game.
Correct.
They made some changes in this game. They brought the Rom in there. Obviously, Klaassen didn't last the whole game, and he kind of faded out at the end. So I think Van Gaal will have to go back to the drawing board, think about now what's going on next. They'll be happy they got the result, but I think he would have wanted a little bit more of a convincing victory.
Correct, and you know, Van Gaal, folks, those who follow Van Gaal, this is kind of what he does. This is his I don't know, his characteristic style of play. He loves that three at the back. He will lock things down. He did it in 2014 with the Netherlands, and you know, I guess he can argue, although we disagreed how he did it, maybe that lack of courage probably would have given him the little advantage over Argentina back in 2014. They lost on penalties, but like I said, he loves that three at the back, which can switch to five. And you know, you have guys like Dumfries and these guys from Inter Milan who are very good going down the right side. But do you think, as you said, that he will actually, I mean, you said he should change it, but if it's working for him, do you think he'll change it? And just to talk about the stats real quickly, this is an example of a flip of the other game. They got 63% possession, which is 37, and it actually worked out in their favor. Yet the style of play of the Netherlands is not the most exciting style of play. So you did mention Van Gaal needs to step it up when it gets to the bigger teams and so on. Do you think he will do it though?
Well, I think he has to, because at the end of the day, this Dutch team have to break down these bigger teams. As I say, there's going to come a time when they may face a Brazil, a Portugal, an England, a France. You're not going to be able to, you know, play the way they played against Qatar in this game. So it's going to take a little tinkering. I mean, he has the knowledge, he has the experience to do it, but all in all, he'll be happy he got the victory. At the end of the day, the Dutch team now go through with you know, top of the group. But he will have to be thinking about now what goes on a little later on, you know? So I hope he comes up with it, because it's an exciting Dutch team with a lot of young talent. Now, we've not seen Simmons yet. I keep talking about him. I really want to see him. Napo up front has been fantastic. So let's just hope they get the momentum, they get into the swing of things, and they take it from, you know, game to game.
Yes. So we'll see how it goes, folks. So as the tournament goes along, you know, we're wrapping up the group stages. I think James and I will probably do a predictor. We'll see. We'll do a little mock-up of the round of 16 and do James' predictions, this is Andrew's predictions, and we'll see how it goes. And then we'll even have some of you all do that as well. Send us in your predictions. You can send us a screenshot. We'll put an email in the description below. You can send it to us, and you know, we'll do a draw as well. That'll be fun. See how much you football fans know out there. Who's right and who's wrong. I love it. It's a flip of a coin. So, you know, let's take a look at the group stage before we head to a word from our sponsors. So Group A, as we said at the beginning, Netherlands has 7 points, Senegal has 6 points, they're through. Qatar stayed at rock bottom with 0 points, and Ecuador, you know, were on the verge, but eventually in the end, they were pipped out. There's no best third place anymore. So, you know, James, do you think the deserving teams went through?
I think so. I mean, we spoke about it before the tournament, Netherlands and Senegal. I mean, Ecuador had a good chance, but they were not able to overcome that last little hurdle and get that, you know, all they needed was a draw, I think, in that game. They weren't able to. So at the end of the day, it's the right two teams, and we hope that it's going to be an exciting round of 16, quarters, semis, and then obviously the big final. So
yes. So folks, you know, we're going to take a little message from the kind folks of Biotech. Let's hear what they have to say.
Biotech Plus is internationally certified for all clinical disinfection and sterilisation, all infectious disease control and surgical instruments.
All right, folks, so we're back and we're going to talk about the second set of games, played at the same time. James and I had a bit of a challenge looking at this. It's very difficult. We're going to do our best. And we're going to try to do the watch along, but obviously we're going to kick things off in the US. A Christian Pulisic strike. The man from Chelsea often dropped a lot. The Americans, their great hope. He was the difference between USA and Iran. There's also a little bit of a thing we'll talk about as well. Very quickly, the press conference before the match was pretty tense. That's a whole bunch of non-footballing matters. But this result basically helped the US secure qualification. James, what do you think about Greg Berhalter's men and their performance, not just in this game, but overall in the group stage?
Well, I have to say I've been quietly impressed by America. I mean, obviously they got the draw with England, and then they were able to overcome Iran. I mean, it wasn't convincing, I won't say that, but Pulisic took his goal well. I think there was a goal disallowed as well, I think, from which Weah scored as well. But then again, at the end of the game, there was that little penalty call. I have to look back at it again, but there was a slight chance maybe the referee could have gave something to Iran, but at the end of the day they'll be bitterly delighted. The fact is they're able to go through to the next round and a chance to mix it with the big boys. I mean, America tend to usually qualify for the latter stages, we know this.
Yep.
Have they been on top of their game? They've been okay. I mean, as I say, that front three of Pulisic, Weah and Sargent today, I think Weston McKennie didn't have the best of games.
Yeah.
He was obviously substituted. Adams had an okay game, but I think one of the things is they have a pretty solid back four. I think Ream and Carter Vickers, who obviously plays at Celtic, had a good game today. They locked up shot and they didn't give Iran, because we know Iran have obviously Taremi, who as a guy we've spoke about a lot.
Yeah.
Any little scrap, he would put it in the net.
Right.
They locked up shot, he wasn't able to score, and as I say, they'll be very, very happy they got this result.
Yes, and we're going to take a look at the stats as always, folks. Obviously possession-wise, USA had 51, Iran had 49, it was very close. Shots-wise, they had 12 versus 4, but there was only 5 on target for the US versus 1. There was a chance, you mentioned at the end with Iran. That could have changed the game completely. Do you think that's an indication? And obviously we know the US men's national team, they have a lot to prove and so on. But heading into the next round with the bigger teams and so on, do you think there are those deficiencies, they can work on that so they'll be okay in the next round?
Well, they definitely step up their game. I mean, I think one thing this American team is, they have a lot of pace going forward. Yep. Obviously, Weah, Pulisic. I mean, we know how good Pulisic has been in England. I mean, or some may even say that that's not the case, but he has that flair going forward. And I think it's going to cause teams problems. He did get a little knock actually when he scored. We'll see if he overcomes that, but because he hit the goalkeeper quite heavily. And obviously, the goalkeeper actually came back into this game, was the goalkeeper who got injured in the first game. So when I watched that, I was thinking, wow, another collision.
Yep.
Is he going to be okay? He was able to play out the game. But I think Pulisic to me was one of obviously the key players in the game. As I say, Adams had a pretty decent game. He got a 4.1 in terms of ratings. But the American team definitely have to step up.
Yes.
If they're going to come up against, like we talked about, the big guns, they don't want to go home after this. They'll want to go as far as they can in the competition. Greg Berhalter will have to be thinking, he'll be planning, and I think that's like every coach now.
Yes.
They have to think now, what do we have to do to step up? Does he have to change his system? I mean, I think they're pretty solid. They have that back four. They're pretty good in midfield. They have that pace. So it's maybe just a little tinkering from his part. And as I say, maybe they can go a little further than they did before.
Yes. Carlos Queiroz and his men. This is a guy who has a lot of history in football. For those of you who don't know, he was at Manchester United for a little while under Sir Alex Ferguson. He was at Real Madrid. He's a guy. He's very good. He's a top quality coach. And in the end, it wasn't enough for him to really get that result that you needed. And unfortunately, Iran, will be out. But kudos to them. I think they played really well. They were this close. And these games are separated by margins. And in the end, kudos to Greg Berhalter and his men. They got a great result. And to be honest, I think it's going to be exciting to see them play, because I think their overall system, while there have been criticisms, and back in the last World Cup, we were the team to kind of knock them out. When I say we, folks, I mean Trinidad and Tobago. And I always said this, that I think that result that Trinidad and Tobago gave them was us awakening a sleeping giant. I think whatever complacency they had then, after they lost to Trinidad and Tobago from that wonderful strike from Alvin Jones, it was gone, and we're seeing it now. There are players and top leagues all over the planet, and they continue their development, and it seems to be working for them. So, you know, folks, we're going to head across to the other game, the game that James and I, you know, had a lot of interest in. Wales and England took on each other, and we all thought Gareth Bale would probably have a nice little, you know, final group stage hurrah, but unfortunately it ended with 3-0 to England. James, England are through. Gareth Southgate were pretty much assured their spot in the next round before the game started. What do you think about Gareth Southgate's performance of his team?
Well, I think the game started off very, very tight. Both teams obviously wanted to take something out of it, and there was a chance, obviously, if Wales had have overcame England, they could have still went through. You know, head to head, they would have then had the upper hand,
right,
and they had a chance to go through. But it wasn't to be. Gareth Bale obviously went off at half-time with an injury.
Yeah.
Ramsey then assumed the captaincy, but a wonderful free kick from Rashford. We've seen him do it for Manchester United.
Yep.
To be very honest, I think Ward's position was a little off with the free kick, and I think he could have done better, but I won't take anything away from the strike from Rashford.
Yeah.
And then I think Foden got the next one, a nice assist from Harry Kane, cut it across, but it was a mistake from the Welsh fullback, sorry. Yeah. And then obviously England went on strength to strength and got the 3-0 victory. But I think in the tournament we just saw that Wales were probably not up to scratch. Bale never really showed up, Ramsey never really showed up. Kiefer Moore had very little support. He came in obviously after the first game. Obviously the sending off of Hennessy as well would play big into it because Danny Ward then had to come in.
Yeah.
But I think all in all, I mean, I think Bellingham had a pretty good game. England did change it up a little bit. They brought in Jordan Henderson to play along with Rice and Bellingham.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Rashford and Foden to play up front with Harry Kane.
Right.
It worked. Obviously, I'll give the other guys a little bit of fresh legs going into the round of 16. Pickford wasn't really troubled the whole game as well. I think there's one that he jumped so high that he just about touched the moon. It was over the bar, but all in all, a comfortable performance for England. Wales didn't do enough, and obviously then England and America head into the next rounds.
Yes, and you know, just to highlight a couple of players, you know, Gareth Southgate is not, you know, I think he's very tactically flexible for England as a manager. You know, a lot of people criticize him. They say he's not courageous enough, but I think, you know, he's sticking with what he knows. And in this game, you could see England is a little bit more relaxed. I guess that's when you win your, well, sorry, you have okay results in your first game because you won the first one, you draw the second one. You kind of relax going in there and you could express yourself, you could try different things, and the young players like Foden and Rashford performed. We already knew they were talented, but let's talk about Maguire. Maguire took a lot of criticism coming into this tournament. A lot of English fans and Manchester United fans was like, what is he doing in that team? But to be fair, like today they got a clean sheet. He did really well against USA. The first game, you know, even though they won, there was some little iffy moments. But, you know, is Gareth Southgate, you know, vindicated now by choosing Maguire? Because a lot of people thought that would have been his undoing. And will that also be a glaring Achilles heel when he plays the bigger teams?
Well, I think you've got to give Gareth Southgate a lot of credit because there was a chance he could have left Maguire home, but I think he fits into the English system very well. They need that big centre-back who can boss it, who can win headers, who can control it in there, and he's done that. I mean, he obviously is there with Stones, and to be honest, they've kind of put up a wall with the exception of the 2 goals from Iran.
Yeah.
Obviously 2 shutouts after that. They're looking confident. He obviously brought Walker in as well today, who's another very good defender.
Right.
And I think Gareth Southgate is somebody who gets a lot of critiques, you know, myself included, but as you said, he gets results.
Yeah.
And results, as I say, is what win games, and you can't take it away from him. So he'll be delighted. It's a wonderful performance. They got to rest some players, and they're raring to go in the next stage.
Yes, and you know, just a glaring look at the stats. 65% possession versus 35. Now, the reason why I bring this up, in the last World Cup and including the Euros, they had a lot of possession, but particularly in the 2018 World Cup, they did not get a lot of open play goals. They were criticized for that. A lot of their goals are from set plays. They were praised for their set piece goals, but they weren't getting any from open play, and a lot of people kind of like, okay, England is kind of useless outside those things. Since the Euros and now, that clearly has changed. This team has grown and clearly are starting to look like, I mean, I can hear people saying, hey, it's coming home already, especially our friend over there. I know that's a bit premature, but, you know, the statistics show that it's not just mindless possession, they're getting the goals now. But, you know, just to end things off, do you think, I'm pretty sure England would have won anyway, but do you think the Gareth Bale injury made the game a bit, kind of swerve towards the English opposition in the second half?
I don't think so, because Bale had 2 games before it, and like I said, he didn't really show up. I mean, whether it is, obviously he's playing in America now, there's always that debate about the standard of how high the American League is, but he didn't show that he had anything in any of the 3 games. I thought, as I say, Ramsey was very poor as well, and these are 2 players that obviously Wales rely heavily on.
Right.
They didn't have it, and obviously they're going home now, so I mean, in a sense, that story's finished, and it's time to write a chapter now on how far England can go.
Yes. So folks, we're going to wrap things up by talking about the Group B. So obviously England are top of the group with 7 points. They got 2 wins and a draw, and the US of A, the US men's national team, Greg Berhalter and his men, I think did really well. They played really well. I'm pretty sure, I actually think they could even play better than this, but they got their 5 points, they're through. I think it's mission accomplished so far in a tricky group. So James, moving forward, what do you think about the US men's national chances as they start to go into the knockout stages and who they may possibly play, which we'll talk about on another episode, but what do you think about the US chances overall?
Well, I mean, from a US point of view, they're going to now play Holland.
Yeah.
That's who they get in the next round because of obviously results. It's a very, very big ask.
Yes.
I think, like I said, this American team has a lot of pace.
Yes.
Can they hurt Holland? I believe they can. But again, it depends which Dutch team shows up. I mean, they obviously have Van Dijk and so at the back there. But it's a very creative Dutch team if they play.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've seen that creativity really yet. And if they do play, I think it'll be a no contest in a sense.
Yes.
But then, as I say, it depends on who shows up in the next game. And we know both teams have not been at their best as of yet.
Yes. So folks, we'll see. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, like the Facebook page for both Smokey and Bunnies and EXTV. Put your comments. James and I are always posting up interactive content. Have a laugh about TikTok nonsense that we're always doing. We're always having fun. We have met so many beautiful people since this tournament started from all over the world. Strangely enough, from England, the Netherlands. I think there was one Mexican guy, I believe. There was some Mexican women. People from all over the place. That's the amazing power of football. So be sure to like, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, check us out on Twitter, and also, as James said at the beginning, we have a lot of prizes that we're giving away, so be sure to interact. We'll be announcing our winners this week. So we have prizes, folks, we have prizes, and we also have little merchandise and stuff as well. You guys can come down and see what you like and grab some drinks. So James, would you like to add anything else?
Well, the other thing to remember is now England will also go on to play Senegal. We saw Senegal, they look very impressive.
Yeah.
But can Senegal now come up with an upset and knock out the 3 Lions? It's an interesting question. What do you all think? Let us know. And then obviously Andre touched on something. Why am I wearing this shirt? Well, the 2 teams today were playing obviously from Great Britain, so to me I couldn't pick between them, so I wore the shirt that was obviously supporting both.
Yes. That's a very diplomatic way of doing it, James. Very impressive, very impressive.
And then the other thing to remember too, we have more games tomorrow. Obviously it's very difficult. It's difficult for myself and Andre. There's 2 games again at 11, 2 games at 3. So tomorrow we have Tunisia playing France at 11. Simultaneously Australia playing Denmark. So some big games there again. And then at the 3 o'clock game we have Poland against your boys Argentina.
Yeah.
We'll see who shows up in that one. And Saudi Arabia against Mexico. Obviously for a place in the next stage of the tournament. So again, great football, wonderful games, and we just cannot wait.
Yes. So folks, we're going to let James end the show like we always do. James, let the people know what type of show this is.
Well, we know we have a wonderful show here with Full of Football, lots of prizes, so please come down and follow us here at Smoking Bunties, come down and see us, and make sure you all tune into the greatest show on earth.